What's going on, everybody? Almost Counts Collectibles here, and in this video we are going to be cleaning up and custom painting our Super Nintendo. Now, we are going to go with a gold and green Zelda themed Super Nintendo, but first we have to thoroughly clean this. We have to take it apart, clean the inside, tape it off, paint it. We're going to clear coat it when we're done. We've got some custom decals we're going to put on it when we're done. But first and foremost, we have to get it clean. So we're going to go ahead and clean the outside, disassemble, and clean the inside to get ready to paint our Super Nintendo. Alright, now that we have wiped down the outside one good time, we are going to take this apart. So we should have 6 total screws. These 2 down here, these 2 right here in the middle, and then finally we should have 2 up here at the top. So we are going to use our bit that we got from our game bit set, and we are simply going to take these out. Now you want to break these very gently. And if you don't know what I mean by break, is when you start to turn it, when that screw starts to separate and de-thread out again, you want to do that very slowly and very firmly. You don't want to do it too quickly. It could, if it's in there enough, if it's in there tight enough, you could actually break the plastic pieces. So be careful with that if you ever do this. All right, it is pretty cruddy down in here, but fortunately it doesn't look like anything has been spilled or any water damage that I can tell. So we're gonna go ahead and get this swept out and cleaned up. All right, so vacuuming got most of the dirt and debris out from down in here. Now I'm actually not going to take most of the rest of the insides out of here because I'm just gonna paint the shell. I'm not replacing the shell. I don't see any water damage or liquid damage that needs to be thoroughly cleaned in here. I am going to clean a little bit more of this dust and stuff off with some Q-tips. I'm going to clean down inside here of the connectors with, I just got like a laminated card I folded in half. I'm gonna use some of these silky shorts right here, and we're gonna take some alcohol down in there. I'm going to take the eject button out, of course, because I am going to paint that and clean it up a little bit more. And then I'm just going to take off the little front plates right here so that they can be painted. All right, there are 6 total screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or actually, there are 7 total screws, counting this one. These 2 right here, these 2, this one, and then these 2 you have to take apart to get this bracket out to be able to eventually take the buttons, the power and reset off the top, which we are going to take off in paint. So I have 1 more screw to take off here. Then we will have to disconnect the little spring right here, and we can take this off. All right, now that those are off, this will come right off of the top. We can set that aside. We can clean off some of these hairs, and then all you have to do is squeeze these together to get the buttons to pop off of these brackets, and you can pull these brackets out of there. So squeeze these together, pop them out, and that just fell off, so that's fine. But we want to take these off. All right, now we're going to clean these brackets up. All right, I'm going to wipe these buttons down real good. You can tell how faded those things are and how dark they are. And then we are going to paint these. These are going to get painted gold. Now, we are going to paint our Super Nintendo. So I am going to mask some of this stuff off. We're going to paint the base with this Krylon Fusion metallic gold. The top is going to get painted with this satin spring grass green color, and then we're going to finish it off with a clear coat. Now the buttons on top will be gold. The eject button right here will be painted a gold color. The faceplate right here, I believe I am going to do in a green. I think so. I don't know. I might change my mind on that. And then I believe I'm going to do some of these top brackets green with the center one, the little eject or the little cartridge cover being gold. So I'll kind of have to, I might paint these, see what they look like, and then repaint them if necessary, but that's kind of the tone that we're going to go with. So let's go take these outside and get these painted. All right, one last thing. Before I get started, I'm going to take some of this gel super glue. And what I'm going to do is I am going to fill these little cracks on the corner with super glue. It will help fill in the crack so you can paint over it and you shouldn't be able to see the crack, but it's also going to help reinforce this and hopefully keep it from cracking anymore or eventually breaking off. So I'm going to do that in all the corners. right, guys, we are all done with the paint job. Took a while, it was definitely a chore, but we got everything painted and we got everything clear coated, and I think it turned out pretty good. So we are gonna go ahead and start reassembly. If I can remember how to put this thing back together, I think I can. And then we'll take one last look at the console once it's fully reassembled. right, we are all done painting the controller. I think it turned out really well. Accidentally dropped one of the buttons before it was dry, so I might have to redo that one eventually if it starts to come off, but they've all been clear coated and painted. So we're gonna go ahead and reassemble this controller and take a look at what it looks like. All right, everybody, the Super Nintendo is all done. It is completely painted. We also did the controller. The controller turned out pretty good. I made a few mistakes on it, but it'll work. So there's only one thing left to do. That's right, you probably guessed it. You don't make a custom painted Zelda themed Super Nintendo if you don't plan on playing some Zelda: A Link to the Past. So I'm gonna go ahead and dive into one of my favorite games of all time on my new custom painted Legend of Zelda themed Super Nintendo. And until next time, everybody, we will see you next video.